Need a little something extra added to your cooking, grilling, or just a kick to make your eating experience special? Well, come on, man. All-purpose Cajun seasoning is just what you've been looking for. Created by former LSU running back Charles Alexander, Come On Man Cajun seasoning is just the added touch that will make any meal worth eating. So, whether it's burgers or gumbo, visit ComeOnManCajunSeasoning.com to get some of our delicious seasoning. Come on, man.
My mom.
My husband.
My mother and my sister.
My grandfather.
My mom.
My grandmother, my uncle, and my aunt had Alzheimer's.
Everyone has been touched by Alzheimer's. Do you know somebody in our community who is affected? Contact Alzheimer's Services for help.
Looking for superb living in Baton Rouge? Take a look at the charming community of the Elysian Apartments. The Elysian Apartments is delighted to offer 9 floor plans with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options. Our spacious floor plans are comfortable and convenient. Explore all of our community amenities, including a business center, clubhouse, fitness center, and much more. Visit ElysiansBatonRouge.com for more information and see why the Elysian Apartments should be your new home.
I'm Ricky Hope of Advanced Welding School. I'm committed to investing in this community and its people. Advanced Welding School has a new program designed to cover the cost of your education, and you'll pay nothing until after we find you a job. There's no credit score needed. Call me today to schedule a consultation and to find out how you can get the education you deserve. Advanced Welding School, 667-9797 or online at advancedweldingschool.com.
Tiger fans, you're now tuned in to Tiger Rag Television, your source for the latest in LSU sports. In-depth game analysis, engaging interviews, and all things Tiger Nation. It's time to talk some LSU sports. Let's get ready for your Tiger Rag hosts, Jim Inkster, Chelsea Brumfield, Jeff Palermo, and Ron Higgins.
I'm Jim Inkster. Happy New Year and welcome to Tiger Rag Television. The stage is set. 2 14-0 teams meeting on the carpet at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on January 13th for the national title. Clemson's won 29 games in a row. They're the defending national champ. LSU is 14-0 and almost a touchdown favorite. We'll talk about this epic matchup with some seasoned observers. Glenn Guilbeau, beat writer for USA Today Network. He's with us. Richard Condon, the incomparable talk show host. He has some ideas about then and now. And we'll also hear from Garland Jean-Baptiste, a 4-year letterman for LSU, who's seen some players come and go. All this coming on Tiger Rag Television.
Looking for fun in Baton Rouge? At Celebrity Theaters, you will experience the highest quality of family entertainment in the Baton Rouge area. Come experience luxury recliner seating in 10 auditoriums, including the 2 premium large format auditoriums with Dolby Atmos sound for every huge movie release. Plus, enjoy a full arcade. Celebrity Theaters is located at 15365 George O'Neill Road in Baton Rouge with locations in Broussard and Ruston, Louisiana. Tickets can be purchased in advance and your next event can be scheduled at celebritytheaters.com. Come join us at Celebrity Theaters for family fun and create lifelong memories.
Hey guys, are you looking for a great haircut tailored just for you with an awesome atmosphere and stylists that will treat you like a king? Well, look no further. Just For Him Haircuts has got you covered. And for a limited time, get $2 off all haircuts from participating Just For Him Haircuts locations. Whether it's an amazing haircut, shave, or beard trim, we promise this isn't your grandpa's barbershop. Stop by one of the convenient locations to get treated like a champion or visit justforhimhaircuts.com for more information.
Hey everybody, this is Troy Lander. I'm standing here with my good friend Joey Dolman. We had the newest car dealership in the greater Baton Rouge area. This is AJ Dolman, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Come see my good friend at AJ Dolman in Plaquemine, and when you do, tell them Shoot 'em sent you.
Tiger Rag Crossfire.
I'm Jim Inkster, and we're glad you're watching Tiger Rag Television, and what a historic season it's been. And for most of the season, with us on the Crossfire segment, the Twin G. And again, we have Glenn Guilbeau, the beat writer for LSU for USA Today Network, featured columnist for Tiger Rag. He is with us to talk about the Tigers and the Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow. And this time around, he may have met his match. There's a pretty good quarterback on the other side, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. And I don't know that I've ever seen a game, Glenn, maybe at any level, where we had two quarterbacks this good competing against one another.
It's amazing. Trevor Lawrence started a little rough this season, but he's up to 7th in passing efficiency. Burrow's 2. But Trevor really had a great game against Ohio State, 62-yard run. Not even Burrow's had a touchdown run that long yet. But Burrow's not playing against Trevor. He's playing against the Clemson defense. And just no one has been able to stop Joe Burrow, and I don't think it's going to happen. What's going to be key is how well LSU's defense does against Trevor Lawrence.
55 touchdowns for Joe Burrow, and
it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and he may be one of the all-time greats. He's got to go to a team in Cincinnati that's not very good, but maybe he can make them better. Lawrence is 3 years younger. He's 20. Burrow's 23. And at that age, that's a pretty big gap. What would a 20-year-old Joe Burrow have done? Would he have been able to compete at this level in the way he has? Maybe not. But of the two, if you had to choose one, who would you take?
Oh, I would go with Joe Burrow. I can't think of anyone I would not take Joe Burrow over as far as a college quarterback. He's just that good. He's that versatile. He's a leader. He's so accurate. It's like he's playing amid boys right now because of his knowledge and his ability, which that you just talked about him being a little older. So Joe, if he'd have been playing as a freshman and sophomore, I don't think he'd be like this in his second year if he was as a sophomore. He would be as a junior and senior later on if he'd have stayed at Ohio State. But his development has just been unbelievable, and Joe Brady deserves a lot of credit, the pass game coordinator, but I think it would have happened under a lot of people.
Well, he has shattered the SEC and LSU record books. The amount of touchdowns and the ease in which he does it. It's an amazing performance that we're witnessing, and one we may not see again. But when he goes to the pros, I think he'll do very well in professional football.
Yeah, you never can tell how college guys do in the NFL. There's some other guys I thought would do really well, like Tommy Hodson. But it'd be hard to think that he wouldn't do well in the NFL. Now, he's going to be on a bad team, and if you remember Peyton Manning's first team with the Colts, they won 1 game. So it could be something like that, but you'd hope he gets better as the team gets better. But Cincinnati's just not a good organization. So I'm hoping if that happens, maybe after a few years, after his rookie contract's over, he could come play for the Saints.
I know you're a trivia guy. You know what the record for most yards passing in an NFL game is?
I do not.
What would you think?
I would say, you know what? I would say maybe 700 yards.
No, 554.
Is that all?
That's all.
By who?
By Norman Van Brocklin in 1951.
Yeah.
All these years, that record has stood. Joe Brady will break Norman.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Thanks for correcting me. He will break Norm Van Brocklin's record. Something Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning did not have the chest to do. Joe Burrow will be able to do it.
All right. Well, I'll hold you to that, Jim Inkster. But I think he could maybe throw. He had 493 the other night against Oklahoma. That's probably going to be the most he's ever thrown for. But he could have hit 500. But I wouldn't be surprised if he throws for 350 or 400 against Clemson.
You expect a close game?
I think it will be close. I think Clemson's very good. Their defense is going to be much better than Oklahoma's. Their 2 lines of scrimmage are probably better than LSU's. But I just can't see in my mind LSU losing with Joe Burrow. I just can't see it. It really does.
Playing much better.
And the defense is very much improved. And that was a good offense. They stopped cold. That was really significant because the last couple of games, Georgia's offense wasn't good. Arkansas's wasn't good. But this was a good Oklahoma offense. And Hurts was like 5 of 18 in the first half. So they shut him down. That's a good quarterback.
Well, when LSU scores its first passing touchdown, as is probably inevitable, I'm sure it is, against Clemson, Joe Burrow will join a quarterback who won a national championship with a touchdown pass against Clemson, and that quarterback really wasn't a quarterback. You know his name, don't you?
Billy Cannon, also from Mississippi. Joe Burrow is not from Mississippi, but his family is, much like Billy Cannon.
And we were looking the other day, Burrow committed to LSU 2 days before Billy Cannon died.
Right.
And Billy Cannon, of course, was the only Heisman Trophy winner until this year, 2019. If LSU wins the national championship, I think 60 years from now, Glenn Guilbeau III will be talking about how great Joe Burrow was, the same way we talk about how great Billy Cannon was.
Oh, I think we're going to be talking about Joe Burrow for as long as Billy Cannon, and maybe longer, because when you look at the season, well, first of all, LSU, it's going to be a 15-0 undefeated season, easily the greatest season ever, because the only other undefeated national champion was Billy Cannon's Tigers, 11-0 in the 1958 season. But Burrow is going to break the completion percentage record, which is amazing because his average yards per completion usually does not translate to a high completion percentage. So he's throwing accurately deep. He's not dinking like a lot of completion percentage guys. So, he's just put up unbelievable numbers in the touchdowns and the wins, and just his personality, the Heisman speech. He's going to be talked about forever.
Well, and as great as your friend Nick Saban is, he's only had one undefeated season.
Right, but that's true.
But isn't it something that we're talking as though it's a foregone conclusion that LSU will win this game? And they're playing a team that's won 29 games in a row.
I know, it is kind of funny. And losing to a team like Clemson would not be any kind of a disaster at all.
Oh, it would be a disaster. Because the expectations are so.
But if they lost a high-scoring, close game,
there'd be no shame in it.
No,
but there would be a devastating effect.
Right, but the 21-0 loss to Alabama, that was a disaster, even though it was a national championship game. LSU's going to score in this game. I think we know that. But there is a chance that they could lose. I didn't think they could lose to Oklahoma, And by the time the Alabama game came around, I didn't think they were going to lose to Alabama. But I think Clemson is the best team they will have played this season. And they've had a couple of close games. Florida and Auburn played LSU very well.
And Texas.
Yeah, and Texas, which ended up not being very good. But this is a game LSU could lose, but I just don't see it.
Glenn Guilbeau, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Tiger Rag Television after this quick timeout.
Because if you give me something with speaking and give me a little English, I can get a diploma. That's easy. And sure enough, I was looking through the curriculum with my counselor at De La Salle. He goes, Rich, what are you going to do when you graduate? I said, I'm going to LSU. He goes, Rich, I've seen your grades, pal. You're not going to LSU. I said, yeah, I am. I'm going to go. I'm going to chase skirts. I'm going to flunk out. I'm going to come home and be an NOPD like my dad. I'll be a plumber. I'll work offshore. I'll get a 6-pack of beer on the way home and stop and get me a steak at the Piggly Wiggly. Everything's going to be fun.
Hey guys, are you looking for a great haircut tailored just for you with an awesome atmosphere and stylists that will treat you like a king? Well, look no further. Just For Him Haircuts has got you covered. And for a limited time, get $2 off all haircuts from participating Just For Him Haircuts locations. Whether it's an amazing haircut, shave, or beard trim, we promise this isn't your grandpa's barbershop. Stop by one of the convenient locations to get treated like a champion, or visit justforhimhaircuts.com for more information.
Looking for fun in Baton Rouge? At Celebrity Theaters, you will experience the highest quality of family entertainment in the Baton Rouge area. Come experience luxury recliner seating in 10 auditoriums, including the 2 premium large format auditoriums with Dolby Atmos sound for every huge movie release. Plus, enjoy a full arcade. Celebrity Theaters is located at 15365 George O'Neill Road in Baton Rouge, with locations in Broussard and Ruston, Louisiana. Tickets can be purchased in advance, and your next event can be scheduled at celebritytheaters.com. Come join us at Celebrity Theaters for family fun and create lifelong memories.
I'm Ricky Hope of Advanced Welding School. I'm committed to investing in this community and its people. Advanced Welding School has a new program designed to cover the cost of your education, and you'll pay nothing until after we find you a job. There's no credit score needed. Call me today to schedule a consultation and to find out how you can get the education you deserve. Advanced Welding School, 667-9797, or online at advancedweldingschool.com.
Need a little something extra added to your cooking, grilling, or just a kick to make your eating experience special? Well, come on, man. All-purpose Cajun seasoning is just what you've been looking for. Created by former LSU running back Charles Alexander, Come On Man Cajun seasoning is just the added touch that will make any meal worth eating. So, whether it's burgers or gumbo, visit ComeOnManCajunSeasoning.com to get some of our delicious seasoning. Come on, man.
Welcome back to Tiger Rag Television. Jeff Palermo, News and Sports Director of the Louisiana Radio Network.
Tiger Rag Six Pack.
6 hot button questions to Tiger Rag editor Ron Higgins. Question number 1 for you, Ron. Is this LSU offense the best college football has ever seen?
Well, when you got a guy who throws for 7 touchdowns in one half, and basically the second half really could probably take the Atlanta Marta to a nice restaurant and have a good meal for the second half, I'd say so, yeah. It's incredible how many points they put up. Nobody's really stopped them. Auburn did a nice job on them. But LSU kind of figured things out. And you've seen other teams, they look what Auburn did against LSU offensively, and they tried to copy, and it just hasn't worked. And LSU's kind of figured stuff out.
I still think they got to finish the job, Ron. Remember in 2011, that was the best team college football had ever seen, and obviously the conversation changed after that game against Alabama.
Well, you said best offense. But as far as best team, you have to finish the job to be the best team. The only other 15-0 team in history in college football was Clemson a few years ago. So here you go. This is a chance.
What does Clemson have to do as we look at question number 2 for the Tiger Rag 6-pack? What does Clemson have to do to try to slow down this LSU offense?
We'll probably try to get to Joe Burrow. I mean, but the whole thing is that's kind of the baffling thing for defenses. They say, well, if we pressure the quarterback, we can handle them. The problem is you pressure Joe Burrow, all hell breaks loose. And you've got guys running free, and he's throwing touchdowns off the run, and he's making incredible throws. And defenses are kind of baffled what to do with that, because they don't at that point they don't know. We've made him move. He should be throwing interceptions and throwing incompletions. And they do that, it doesn't work. So I still think they need to pressure him. I think every quarterbacks need pressure. But they also have to probably they have to guard LSU's receivers to make Burrow hold the ball longer than he'd want to.
Question number 3 for the Tiger Rag 6-pack. Chris Curry, 89 yards rushing in the semifinal win over Oklahoma. How surprised were you with his performance, Ron?
Well, I was surprised by the yardage, but in talking to the players before that game, the days before that game, they all mentioned that Chris Curry had a really good week of practice. Burrow talked about it. Ed talked about it. And so, and even though they didn't tell Curry he would start until right before he ran off for the first series, he was tremendous. And he showed some things we haven't seen before. He showed the Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of jump step to the side and an explosive burst and like to run over people. It made you feel good about LSU's, post Edwards-Helaire era of running backs, because this guy was third in the rotation all year, and he's a guy that stepped up.
All right, question number 4 in the Tiger Rag 6-pack. Michael Divinity, we're expecting him back for the national championship game. What kind of impact could he have, Ron?
Well, I'm sure he could have some sort of impact. He hadn't played in a while. Obviously, he has fresh legs. I mean, he's not tired. The more people you can have out there who are quality and veterans and healthy, the better. And certainly, he's eager to play. They're eager to have him. And it can do nothing but help a defense, which is really playing well right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Dave Aranda uses him now that they do have a pass rush, or at least a consistent pass rush when Divinity was out there, he was really their main pass rush guy. All right, speaking of pass rushes, we move on to question number 5 in the Tiger Rag 6-pack. Who do you think will be a better pro, Kaylavon Chason or Tyler Shelvin?
Well, that's a good point there, because Tyler Shelvin has just actually plugged the middle up for LSU this year, taking on 2 blockers at once. Yeah, I mean, but you know, defensive end, when the rushers off the edge are on a premium, and Chason has showed the last half of the year that he might be that guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. You always got to worry about a guy like Tyler Shelvin with the weight issues, but I think he's been the most consistent performer on that defensive line for LSU all season long. He's certainly made himself some money this year. All right, we move on to question number 6. This is the final question in the Tiger Rag 6-pack. After watching another blowout performance, granted Ohio State-Clemson, very close game. We all knew that was going to be tight, but we saw another blowout performance in a semifinal game between LSU and Oklahoma. Seeing it again, does that really mean we should see an 8-team playoff, or is 4 really the right number?
Well, I still think, they'll probably eventually expand to 8, but they shouldn't take it past that.
Yeah.
That's silly to take it past 8 for so many reasons I can't list them right here.
Well, what I will say, I think what happened in this game between LSU and Oklahoma proves that just because you're a conference championship winner doesn't mean you should be among the top 4. It would have been really interesting if Alabama had defeated Auburn, and whether then you would have had a real argument between Alabama and Oklahoma. And I think that's something that the committee certainly has to look at in future years. Again, just because you won a conference championship doesn't mean you should get in over a team, a one-loss team that might not have won their conference championship. Ron, it was fun. We got another show to go, though, before we get to the championship game. This has been the Tiger Rag 6-pack. More of Tiger Rag Television when we come back.
My mom.
My husband.
My mother and my sister.
My grandfather.
My mom.
My grandmother, my uncle, and my aunt had Alzheimer's.
Everyone has been touched by Alzheimer's. Do you know somebody in our community who is affected? Contact Alzheimer's Services for help.
Are you ready for 2020? Well, your friends at the East Baton Rouge Parish Library are, and we want you to get focused and share in our 2020 vision. It's your opportunity to explore the world through books and digital resources and discover amazing opportunities for your career. Enjoy universal access to information, engaging cultural activities, spaces to meet, grow, and innovate. So what are you waiting for? Stop by any of our 14 convenient locations or visit us online at www.ebrpl.com.
I'm Ricky Hope of Advanced Welding School. I'm committed to investing in this community and its people. Advanced Welding School has a new program designed to cover the cost of your education, and you'll pay nothing until after we find you a job. There's no credit score needed. Call me today to schedule a consultation and to find out how you can get the education you deserve. Advanced Welding School, 667-9797, or online at advancedweldingschool.com.
Hi, this is Jim Inkster. Thank you for being with us for Tiger Rag Television. A special treat we have is our guest Garland Jean-Baptiste, 4-year letterman for LSU, 1983 to 1986. That's 33 years, but in 1986, LSU won the SEC championship for the first time in 16 years. The quarterback was a freshman named Tom Hodson, and Garland Jean-Baptiste was a senior. You had some pretty good players around you, and it was a pretty good team, and you finished your season in New Orleans.
Yeah, those were great years. That was Tommy's freshman year and my senior year. Tommy was a heck of a player. We had guys like Wendell Davis, Michael Brooks, Toby Caston, Henry Thomas, Kevin Guidry, just a great group of guys. Brian Kinchin, just a great group of guys.
We'll talk about your time at LSU. Those were interesting years, as you know, as LSU finished with Jerry Stovall and ended up with Bill Arnsparger, and then had some bad times that came after that. But you were on some good teams, and this is a great team, maybe the greatest team in LSU history. How good are the Tigers as you see them now?
In comparison to the teams that we played on, you look at these the kids out there today. These kids are much bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They start training at a young age. We had no personal trainers. These kids start at a young age, and they prepare from junior high on up. The Tigers now, the 2019 Tigers, they're phenomenal. I can't see. Clemson's a good football team. They're a great football team. They're well balanced. But compared to the Tigers, and maybe I'm biased, and I know that I am, I just can't see the Tigers not pulling out a national championship and bringing the trophy back to Baton Rouge, where it belongs.
Mm-hmm. You were a fullback and blocked for Dalton Hilliard, who became the all-time leading rusher at LSU during your tenure. And now we've got some good running backs, but the spotlight is mainly on the quarterback. The game has evolved a great deal. What do you think about the evolution of the passing game?
Well, looking at Joe Burrow from last season to this season, there's a tremendous, tremendous improvement. He's got great ball placement. And if you look at the offense that they're running, they're not asking him to make plays. They're asking him to get the ball in the hands of the kids who can make the plays. And he's doing such a great job at that. He's got, you've got Marshall Jr., he's got Chase, Jefferson, Moss, Elair, and he spreads the ball around. He's a phenomenal player. And him winning the Heisman is just simply a testament of how hard the kid has worked. And he deserves it. He deserves it.
Garland Jean-Baptiste played with Tommy Hudson, who holds most of the overall records for LSU passing. Joe Burrow has shattered those marks. You saw him in practice. Coach O has been very good about allowing former players to attend practice. You basically have a free pass, don't you?
Absolutely, and Coach O is really big on this. Not only that, he loves to get former players back in. He loves to get them involved. He's got an open door policy. A couple times I've been up there at the football office, and in fact, my daughter, who's a first semester freshman at LSU, is his secretary. She works with the secretary there, and I'll pop in every now and then and stick my head in, and he's like, "Hey, come on in," So he's very welcoming, especially with former athletes, which is a good thing. It makes us feel like we're still a part of the program. Yeah.
Well, when Garland left LSU, he got into law enforcement. Worked 12 years with the FBI from 1995 to 2007. And I understand the coach has a nickname for you.
FBI guy. Yeah. So yeah, that's cute. That's cool. He's again, Coach O is a phenomenal guy. He's done such a great job. He's very personable. More so, he's very approachable. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the former players really, really like about him, his approachability. And he really enjoys and really welcomes us former players coming back and getting involved in the program.
And he's a late bloomer. He's 58 years old, and now he's at the brink of greatness.
Yes.
LSU has never had a season like this.
Right.
Only one team has ever been undefeated in modern time, and that was 1958, if that's modern time. This team could win 15 games. No team had ever won 14 before this year. Right. Could you see it coming?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Going out to practice, and, when you watch the Tigers play, you watch the up-tempo of the offense and how they play, how they score quickly. Well, if you've ever gone out to practice, that's exactly how they practice. It's an up-tempo practice. And I remember, when I played, our practice appeared to be, what I thought appeared to be a little more organized, but it looks like chaos, but it's organized chaos. Yeah. And their tempo is very upbeat.
Well, Coach O, everywhere he's been, has been a great recruiter, and Garland Jean-Baptiste came in with Jerry Stovall. And as we know, Jerry Stovall got fired, but he was one of the great recruiters LSU ever had. He obviously got you to come to LSU, but you came with a lot of other great players.
Yes, 1983, the year I signed to play at LSU, we had guys like Michael Brooks, Toby Caston, Kevin Guidry, Tommy Clapp, John Hazard, Brian Kinchin, Chris Carrier, Mickey Harris. Those guys are all household names here in Louisiana, and they will forever be synonymous with LSU. And just a great group of guys, worked hard, played hard, practiced hard, and guys were just dedicated not just to the game of football, but to LSU as a university. And there's not a guy out there that does not love and adore this phenomenal university.
Garland holds an LSU record for most yards per carry by a running back. And believe it or not, 58.0 yards per carry. It was in your freshman year.
I was a freshman, yes, and we were playing Rice University in Houston. And there may have been a couple minutes left in the game. Our running back coach, Darryl Moody at the time, he says, hey, listen, we're going to put you in the game. We're going to let you carry the ball. And don't be a hero. We've got the game won. And I'm thinking to myself, he ever gives me that football, I'm going to try and score. And lo and behold, I got the football, and 58 yards later, I'm tackled on the 2-yard line. Never scored. I got tackled on the 2-yard line. Of course, I was 225 pounds at the time. And but then when Orangeburger came in, we were all issued a targeted weight that we had to adhere to. And so I went from 225 to 205, which I felt much better. Much better.
Yeah, well, Stovall was ahead of the game. He could see it evolving into a game in which players were bigger and bigger.
Yes. And
he liked running backs that were rather diminutive, and it worked well for him, Dalton Hilliard being the most well-known.
Right.
But you were 6 foot, 210, 215, ran a 4.5 40.
Correct.
I'm told that you wanted to play defense, though. Is that right?
I did. In high school, at St. Martinville, we won the state championship in 81. We went undefeated up until the state semifinals game. We lost to Jennings. But I was the state's most valuable defensive player that year. And I got to LSU, but they wanted big fullbacks in the backfield. And so instead of playing linebacker, I played fullback. A couple years later, when Orangeburger came in, he asked if I was interested in playing linebacker. And I said, yes, I am. But the transition never happened. I don't regret not playing linebacker. I just enjoyed the experience that I had at LSU. I think every kid that's able to attend, every kid from Louisiana that has an offer to play football in Tiger Stadium, there's no other place in the country like it. They should take advantage of that.
It's worked out well for you. I mentioned the FBI affiliation. You've been an actor on the big screen with some pretty big names, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jim Belushi.
Correct.
And you've been in business. You've done well in business. And you had a chance when you were the FBI to move to Los Angeles at their cost, and you chose not to. That was what ended your career. Why did you not go to Los Angeles?
Well, I spent 12 years with the Bureau, and at the time, I was recently divorced, 3 daughters with my ex-wife, and I just felt that it was more important for me to be here in Louisiana. My kids needed me more in Louisiana than the FBI needed me in California. And so I took an early retirement from the FBI after 12 years, and I stepped down to be here for and with my children. I could not allow my former wife to raise the kids on her own. That would not be fair to her, nor would that have been fair to my children.
At 54, I can tell you're fighting the fight. You run a lot, don't you?
I run. I do 5 miles a day, at least 4 to 5 days a week. I watch my diet. I eat properly, and I stay fit. I do my best. I do my best.
You're predicting a win, as I think just about everybody in Louisiana is, for LSU over Clemson, and they are almost a touchdown favorite now.
Yeah.
So the chances of winning are strong. Where does the program go from here? Can it be sustained?
Absolutely. I think Coach L has put key people in place, such as Brady, Aranda. He's got guys in place, in addition to Corey Raymond, who's an excellent recruiter. Corey's a good friend of mine. He's an excellent recruiter. He's got key people in places that can continue recruiting and bringing in successful players and keeping the program at that level. When Saban came in, he started this program and he built the program up. And so now that Coach O is here, he can continue what Saban and Les Miles put together and continue building that program. Look, we've got, if you've ever been down to Tiger Stadium and down to the locker room, they've got the facilities, the football complex facilities are just unbelievable. I don't think there's anything that can match it in the country.
Well, we're glad you spent time with us. Garland Jean-Baptiste, one of LSU's finest ambassadors. I'm sure we'll have him back soon. And congratulations on your continuing
Well, thanks
success.
for having me, Jim.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you soon.
Absolutely.
Need a little something extra added to your cooking, grilling, or just a kick to make your eating experience special? Well, come on, man. All-purpose Cajun seasoning is just what you've been looking for. Created by former LSU running back Charles Alexander, Come On Man Cajun seasoning is just the added touch that will make any meal worth eating. So, whether it's burgers or gumbo, visit ComeOnManCajunSeasoning.com to get some of our delicious seasoning. Come on, man.
My mom.
My husband.
My mother and my sister.
My grandfather.
My mom.
My grandmother, my uncle, and my aunt had Alzheimer's.
Everyone has been touched by Alzheimer's. Do you know somebody in our community who is affected? Contact Alzheimer's Services for help.
Looking for superb living in Baton Rouge? Take a look at the charming community of the Elysian Apartments. The Elysian Apartments is delighted to offer 9 floor plans with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options. Our spacious floor plans are comfortable and convenient. Explore all of our community amenities, including a business center, clubhouse, fitness center, and much more. Visit ElysiansBatonRouge.com for more information and see why the Elysian Apartments should be your new home.
I'm Ricky Hope of Advanced Welding School. I'm committed to investing in this community and its people. Advanced Welding School has a new program designed to cover the cost of your education, and you'll pay nothing until after we find you a job. There's no credit score needed. Call me today to schedule a consultation and to find out how you can get the education you deserve. Advanced Welding School, 667-9797, or online at advancedweldingschool.com.
I'm Jim Inkster, and we're glad you're watching Tiger Rag Television, and we have the incomparable Richard Condon, RC3, with us. And for those unfamiliar, Richard and I go back a few years.
More than a few, Jim. We go back to the late 70s, my friend.
That's right.
Because you were the sports director at the campus station at LSU. You passed that baton to Steve Snyder, who passed it to me, and so on and so forth.
And look how it turned out.
A lot of hard work. You just don't throw this together.
Well, and what we're witnessing now is unprecedented, and we'll get to that. But a lot of people don't know about your background, and they probably don't know that we're very good friends. And I was at an event on August 31st, 1984. I remember it like it was yesterday. Mike the Tiger was there.
He was.
And what happened that day?
Well, it wasn't a day. Well, it's a day I'll remember forever because I'll never forget poor grandma. She had a flask in her purse, and she was sitting on the front row at St. Thomas More the day I got married. And my groomsmen were so nice because they knew I was an obnoxious LSU fan. They called LSU about getting Mike the Tiger, in his costume, the whole bit. I think they charged him like $500. I didn't know anything about it. So I'm at the front, and right before my bride and my future father-in-law, they're getting ready. All of a sudden, Mike the Tiger comes out the side. He starts coming out, walking up the aisle. And all of a sudden, my grandma goes, "What in the hell is that? That stinks like you know what." And sure enough, because I guess they didn't send it to Keen's to clean us from the previous season. Oh, God, it reeked. It absolutely reeked the whole church. Mike the Tiger was at the altar. I still got that picture, and that is something I'll cherish forever.
Mark Jeffers was Mike the Tiger.
He was the best Mike the Tiger of all time. Mark Jeffers was the one when the state trooper in the tiger suit was coming out of the ceiling when Dale in his heyday, late 70s, early 80s. And Mark Jeffries was the one at the SEC reprimanded LSU because he would do the, the cane with the visually impaired thing. And he really stirred it up, man. He did a great job. He was probably the best Mike the Tiger. He wasn't politically correct. You couldn't get away with what he did back then, the Mike the Tiger now. But no, Mark Jeffries, he was phenomenal.
Richard grew up in the Irish Channel in New Orleans.
9th and Chippewa.
De La Salle High School.
Yep, and you know what? I'll tell you one thing. See, they say that school's a lot tougher for these kids today, right? They say it's a lot tougher. No, it's not. It's a lot easier. Because when I went to De La Salle, I didn't have any Asian kids to cheat off of. So, these Asian kids now in these schools. So now, when I was back at De La Salle, it's like we didn't worry about grades. We did. We'd get out of De La Salle and go to LSU, flunk out after the fall semester, party, wake up in the backseat of the Trans Am and not know what part of town I'm in. And then I went there and I was able to go, look, I need a major that involves no math. Because if you give me something with speaking and give me a little English, I can get a diploma. That's easy. And sure enough, I was looking through the curriculum with my counselor at De La Salle. He goes, Rich, what are you going to do when you graduate? I said, I'm going to LSU. He goes, Rich, I've seen your grades, pal. You're not going to LSU. I said, yeah, I am. I'm going to go. I'm going to chase skirts. I'm going to flunk out. I'm going to come home and be an NOPD like my dad. I'll be a plumber. I'll work offshore. I'll get a 6-pack of beer on the way home and stop and get me a steak at the Piggly Wiggly. Everything's going to be fine. So when I went to LSU, there was no math. I said, I can get this done. And then I only had to get the general studies. I took all my 4,000 level broadcast classes. They were easy. LSU journalism school wasn't even accredited back then. So the only thing I couldn't get out is the 3rd Spanish. So my old man said, that's enough. Just get a general studies degree. So that's what happened.
And you did it. It took a few years, but you on the extended plan. Richard Condon has something Pete Maravich doesn't have, and a lot of others. He has a degree from Louisiana State University. And over the 35 years since you got married, I've known you through several iterations. You were once a security guard at the Assembly Center, correct?
Was for a brief moment of time.
And had a brief fleeting glimpse of Diana Ross, right?
I saw her naked.
Yes.
I've been very fortunate in my life. I've seen Diana Ross naked. I took Dominique Wilkins to Derringers on Florida Boulevard. I was gambling in Vegas once before the Hagler-Hearns fight. Right. And we were flying back because we went during the week because it was cheap. Yeah. And we were gambling at a Friday night in Imperial Palace. And here comes Hearns with his entourage. He sat next to me, and I made a point not to aggravate him. But eventually, when we were getting done, I said, Mr. Hearns, I just want to say, he says, well, you're here for the fight. I said, no, man, we flying back tomorrow. He took care of me. I was 4 rows from the ring, and he paid for my extra night. We flew back Sunday, and his people took care of my flight back.
Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
Tommy the Hitman Hearns. So I'll always be indebted to him.
And Richard, who hosts Condon Uncensored, 5:30 to 10, Monday through Friday, 98.1 in Baton Rouge, and it can be heard through most of South Louisiana. People may not know this, but you're really into LSU trivia, and it is Richard who goes back to October 12th, 1981, the last time something happened at Tiger Stadium. This is unfathomable. What was it?
It was just a few years ago, Jim, and I was
just
thinking
38.
about it. Yeah, but I was thinking about it, and I'm going, you know what? I said it on the air one day. I said, can you realize all the skilled people that have come through that university? You know, the Eddie Kinnisons and the Skylar Greens and the Kinchins of the world and Tony Mosses, and I went on and on and on. I said, do you realize that an LSU football player in Tiger Stadium has not returned a kickoff back for a touchdown since October 12th of 1981? And of course, everybody was calling me a liar. You don't know what you're talking about, Kinnison. I said, no, that was in the back of the end zone. Trenton Holiday, no, those were on the road. There's been so many of them, but they all happened on the road. So I'll never forget, I was talking to Mike Bonnet, and Mike goes, Rich, I don't think that sounds right. Well, we'll look into it. It's about 8 years ago. And sure enough, he called me back the next day. He said, Richard, you know what? We didn't even know that. And to this day, and he turned 58 in November, talking about Eric Martin. He was a guy that Stovall moved from running back to wide receiver because he was too slow. And you were thinking, I know what moving the football up for the kickoff. I get you got less chances. I don't need anybody who invented the game to tell me the simple stuff. I get that. But you would have thought that one time against the North Texases, or the McNeese States, or all these little poo-poo teams they used to take on, that somehow one day, and I still say to this day, after losing a prostate, I'm 59, if you would have given me that many chances, I'm bringing one back. Bringing one back.
That was
I'm going to find the scene, get a couple of
1981.
blocks. 1981.
That was the Jerry Stovall year, and we had Garland Jean-Baptiste on a little bit earlier. He played on that 83 team, which was the last year for Stovall. And I remember a play, we were standing together in the press box, and Toby Caston stops John Bond after a long gain, and we collectively thought, has it come to this? What happened?
Toby Caston went nuts.
And this is after
Toby, like we're losing my 30, brother. God bless Toby Cat. You know, he lost his life in an automobile accident. And talking about 83, probably the biggest injustice. And I see the man every day at the gym, Jerry Stovall. And I see him every day at the gym. And I told him a long time ago, I said, Jerry, for me, the biggest injustices in the world is Bob Broadhead coming in. And you had that great year in 82. That team was good enough to compete for a national title. Tennessee game, you know, that was a great team. And Bob Broadhead, God bless his soul, he wanted to bring in Bill Arnsparger, who came in and did a great job. I'm not saying that was a bad move, but I thought it was an injustice for Jerry Stovall. All the recruits he brought in that Arnsparger won with, and poor Jerry Stovall got let go. You know, it happens to a lot of people, but he was a good man and didn't deserve it.
And Richard had one of the first real TV talk shows, kind of like this, back in 1987, I think it started.
It started 87, right, 87 and 90.
And I remember you interviewed Broadhead, and of course he had been fired and wrote that book, Sacked. And your remark to me was that it was difficult to be near him, as we are right now, because, as you said, he reeked of Old Spice.
It was unbelievable. Now, I'm a brute guy, but I know my limitations. You know, an eye drop on this ear and an eye drop and a little wrist. Like that, I'm good. Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you, when he went to Walgreens, the lady with the key, when she opened that cabinet, he was just grabbing. He loved his cologne. I got to tell him, man. He loved his stuff.
Well, Richard turned 60 on March 13th, and in the last few years, you've kept yourself in great shape, but you've overcome prostate cancer and a severed Achilles tendon. It's
Jim,
been a bit of a struggle.
I told my wife, and I'm not making this up, I told my wife when she said, you know, she'd marry me, I said, one thing I can guarantee you, as long as God bless me with good health, I'm always going to look good naked. And I made it a commitment. Seriously, you think it's funny? It's not funny. Too many women sleeping with these nasty dudes. So I told Sue, as long as I got my health. So she, you know, after I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, most people would let that limit them. But I said, no, once I heal up, I'm going back to the gym. Blew out my Achilles tendon, and I had 3 surgeries, and then I had an infection set in. Just got over that way. I had to go with the infusion and all of that. So I'm not here to preach, but man, if you got your health, and there's really only one thing we got total control over in our lives. If you got your health, okay? You don't have total control over that unless you live a crazy life. The only thing you got total control over in your life, you can be a hard worker, companies lay off, things shut down, the economy goes down, and you know what, shoot. The only thing you got total control over is how you treat your spouse. That's it. That's the only thing you got total control over.
For 35 years.
35
Pretty
years.
good track. 2 beautiful kids.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah. Well, Richard, thanks for joining us.
Jim, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Richard Condon, one of a kind. And we'll be back with more Tiger Rag Television after this pause.
Are you ready for 2020? Well, your friends at the East Baton Rouge Parish Library are, and we want you to get focused and share in our 2020 vision. It's your opportunity to explore the world through books and digital resources and discover amazing opportunities for your career. Enjoy universal access to information, engaging cultural activities, spaces to meet, grow, and innovate. So what are you waiting for? Stop by any of our 14 convenient locations or visit us online at www.ebrpl.com.
Looking for fun in Baton Rouge? At Celebrity Theaters, you will experience the highest quality of family entertainment in the Baton Rouge area. Come experience luxury recliner seating in 10 auditoriums, including the 2 premium large format auditoriums with Dolby Atmos sound for every huge movie release. Plus, enjoy a full arcade. Celebrity Theaters is located at 15365 George O'Neill Road in Baton Rouge with locations in Broussard and Ruston, Louisiana. Tickets can be purchased in advance, and your next event can be scheduled at celebritytheaters.com. Come join us at Celebrity Theaters for family fun and create lifelong memories.
Hey everybody, this is Troy Lander. I'm standing here with my good friend Joey Dolman. we had the newest car dealership in the greater Baton Rouge area. This is AJ Doman Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Come see my good friend at AJ Doman in Plaquemine, and when you do, tell him Shoot 'em sent you.
Looking for superb living in Baton Rouge? Take a look at the charming community of the Elysian Apartments. The Elysian Apartments is delighted to offer 9 floor plans with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom options. Our spacious floor plans are comfortable and convenient. Explore all of our community amenities, including a business center, clubhouse, fitness center, and much more. Visit ElysiansBatonRouge.com for more information and see why the Elysian Apartments should be your new home.
Predictions.
Welcome back to Tiger Rag Television. Jeff Palermo, News and Sports Director of the Louisiana Radio Network. Joining us again for this segment, Tiger Rag editor Ron Higgins. Ron, while we have a few moments, let's talk a little hoops. A nice win over Liberty over the weekend, knocking off the Flames, handing Liberty its first loss of the year, 74-57. LSU heads into conference play 8-4. The conference opener, tough place to play in Knoxville this Saturday against the Tennessee Volunteers. How do you feel about Coach Will Wade's team entering conference play?
Well, it's still a work in progress, and you'd like to see more progress at this point. Still don't have a true point guard who you feel like can, from game to game, handle the team like he should. Even though, I think Javonte Smart is a really good athlete and has been put in a tough spot having to play the point. It's not his natural position, and they probably need to find someone else who can do that. But at this point, you want your most experienced guys out there, and Javonte is that guy. They're not the biggest team in the world, but they do rebound well, and they are a good offensive team inside. But outside, they're just a terrible three-point shooting team, really inconsistent, and that's another problem they've got to overcome. So, the biggest problem for LSU is Tremont Waters is no longer here. And the guy that you depended on to get you buckets when you needed them, the guy who held your whole team together, the guy who would always make the unbelievable hustle play, as he did last year for the SEC regular season championship team that went to the Sweet 16. He's not here. He's in the G League and the NBA, and also played a little bit with the Celtics. He's playing well, but this team right now, it's still a work in progress, and it hasn't reached a point of consistency yet for Will Wade. As he said a couple of times, this team it really doesn't know yet how to get down and get gritty and really play hard like last year's team did.
But we got about a minute left here, Ron. It helps LSU in the fact that the SEC doesn't seem as good as it was last year, right?
Yeah, there's not an outstanding team out there. Kentucky's been beat several times. I think Auburn's the best team right now in the league. Tennessee lost a ton of people. So if LSU doesn't turn the ball over a bunch and sticks with his offensive game plan, they have a shot in Knoxville. But, there's nobody out there in this league. Really, there's nobody in college basketball as a whole this year, nationally, that you say, wow, that's a great team.
Well, it should be a lot of fun to see how Will Wade is able to coach this team up. They go in again into conference play this Saturday against Tennessee with an 8-4 record. We'll take another break. More of Tiger Rag Television when we come back.
My mom.
My husband.
My mother and my sister.
My grandfather.
My mom.
My grandmother, my uncle, and my aunt had Alzheimer's.
Everyone has been touched by Alzheimer's. Do you know somebody in our community who is affected? Contact Alzheimer's Services for help.
Hey everybody, this is Troy Lander. I'm standing here with my good friend Joey Doman. We had the newest car dealership in the greater Baton Rouge area. This is AJ Doman Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Come see my good friend at AJ Doman in Plaquemine, and when you do, tell him Shoot 'em sent you.
Thank you for joining us for the New Year's edition of Tiger Rag Television. We'll return next week, 12 days away from the national championship right now. LSU and Clemson, a battle of undefeated Tigers and a repeat of the 1959 Sugar Bowl. Billy Cannon and the Bengals won that one. We'll follow Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence and hear more from the Bible of LSU Sports, the most seasoned group of followers of LSU Sports in the game today, with Ron Higgins, Jeff Palermo, Glenn Gilboa. We'll be back next week Hope you have a great new year and stay tuned.
My mom,
my husband,
my mother, and my sister.
My grandfather.
My mom.
My grandmother, my uncle, and my aunt had Alzheimer's.
Everyone has been touched by Alzheimer's. Do you know somebody in our community who is affected? Contact Alzheimer's Services for help.